In the existence of this magnificent nation, a few of its presidents have emerged from the pack as absolutely historical and memorable, even greater than others. Of course, the presidents from the technology of the Founding Fathers without a doubt healthy that in voice, which include George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And presidents that served the U.S. in instances of amazing disaster additionally are deeply honored in memory. But in current memory, there possibly no different president that brings up thoughts of appreciation and admiration as a whole lot as that of John F. Kennedy. Kennedy regarded to seize the hearts of the American humans in a way that was one special in presidents earlier than or since. Part of it may also have been the generation in records that the U.S. used to be in when he grew to become the President of the United States. The ancient time between 1950 and 1970 used to be a time when the greatest era of youth, now recognized as the baby boomers, was once coming of age. With them a new early life motion introduced a experience of optimism, and new mindset and to some extent a experience of revolution. They have been searching for new methods of seeing things, a new imaginative and prescient of the future and new management, and John F. Kennedy used to be the best man of the hour to furnish that leadership. So tons about Kennedy presidency has an air of secrecy, of romance, and nearly a fairy story exhilaration of it. From the naming of his household estates Amelia to the love affair that the public had with the strikingly lovely presidential couple, Jack and Jacqueline Kennedy. The contact of magic prolonged to the whole thing he did, and honestly anyone in his household together with his youthful brother Robert, who used to be idolized as nicely and nearly sincerely, would have served as president had he now not been tragically assassinated for the duration of his early bid for that office. But this was once no longer to say that Kennedy was once now not a out of the ordinary leader. He confronted serious challenges. The Cuban Missile Crisis might also have been one of the most scary exhibit downs between a nuclear Russia and a nuclear America that has ever took place in history. When it grew to become clear that Russia used to be starting to construct bases in Cuba and arm them with these horrible weapons, this used to be no time for a vulnerable president. Had Russia been capable to bully Kennedy or intimidate the younger president and put these missiles in Cuba, it appears positive that the effect of the bloodless fighting would have been one of failure instead than success. But Kennedy was once no longer bullied or intimidated, and the use of the electricity of his office, Kennedy stood as floor and stood floor for all Americans and pressured the Russians to cast off these missiles. But this used to be no longer the solely brilliant accomplishment of Kennedy administration. It took a chief who had exceptional imaginative and prescient and potential to encourage a state as no person else than John F. Kennedy may wanted to set the points of interest of the country on touchdown on the moon. But Kennedy put that want and that excessive calling in the hearts of his human beings, and the state rallied to ultimately see that man step out on the moon and declare, "His is one step for man, a large jump for mankind." That used to be one of the proudest days in American records, and it used to be Kennedy who stimulated us to that sort of greatness. As a lot as the existence and management of John F. Kennedy flawlessly exemplified the optimism and youthful zeal of a generation, his tragic assignation modified the U.S. invariably as well. On that unhappy day of November 22, 1963, when Lee Harvey Oswald gunned down America-loved president, the hearts of Americans modified forever. This used to be one of these days that nearly all people who was once alive at the time, from college adolescents to grandfathers, remembered the place they have been when they heard the news. Since we laid to relaxation this brilliant leader, the presidency itself has by no means been the same. While Americans will continually admire their presidents, that feel of adoration for the man in the White House disappeared forever. But the aspect that did no longer disappear was once the ongoing adoration of the man, John F. Kennedy, who stimulated a technology and a state to seem to be ahead to greatness, and in the well-known phrases of his inaugural tackle in 1961, "Ask no longer what your USA can do for you, ask what you can do for your country."